The depression on the high plains did not begin with the market crash or the closing of banks. It began with dust. Dust that swept from 100 million acres, Texas to Montana, day after day for 10 years. It fell on the plains like a coffee-colored snow, killing cattle and covering crops. In one day, 350 million tons of topsoil were sucked into the sky, carried aloft on 100-mile-an-hour winds. 12 million tons fell on Chicago, 4 pounds for every person in the city. The rest soared on toward the Atlantic. Ships 300 miles from New York reported dust on their decks. At the center of the blow in Cimarron County, Oklahoma, not a blade of wheat was harvested that year. The dust and the drought were so bad that by mid-depression, 2 million farmers were out of work.
Does coming back here bring any memories back to you?
Oh, you bet. Makes a feller kind of wish he was a little kid again.
Daryl Coble was 3 years old that day when the stinging sand sent him scurrying with his father and brother to a half-hidden barn. Their picture, perhaps more than anything else, came to symbolize life in the Dust Bowl. Today, the winds and the dust are gone, but the old homestead still stands as a monument to those times. Daryl Coble is now 46, with a family of his own.
Those old trees sitting right down yonder, there's probably about 2 foot of them sticking out of the ground at one time.
Daryl's children can't ever remember a time like that, when more than half the neighbors left, blown out, baked out, and broke. By Depression's end, there were fewer than 2 people per mile.
Buster.
But the Cobles still live less than 12 miles from the original homestead.
Mom's home.
Despite the dust and the drought, Daryl's dad stuck it out.
He was kind of stubborn. They tried to get him to go to California, and he said, no way. It pays his way to California. And he said, no way, I ain't going out there. I'd rather stay in the dust than go out there.
Mutt Noble understands. He was a neighbor then. He is a neighbor now. 3 days a week, the Nobles and the Cobles play dominoes. And ironically, they now look back on those dirty 30s with a certain fondness.
But I'll tell you something, that I think that's just exactly what we need is a depression. I'd hate to see one, but I think that's what it's going to take to wake people up.
Well, it scares me. But it's going to happen. It's just going to happen, that's all there is to it. I don't know what they can do about it. I mean, groceries are high, fuel's high, everything gets high.
For one thing, the government is just keeps printing more money, more money, more money. That's what makes your dollars cheaper.
Give me a dime.
Now, Daryl, you cut that out, burn it.
Folks in Cimarron County know something about saving for a rainy day. After all, they waited long enough for one. Daryl worked a second job for 12 years to keep his farm going. His boys are worried that inflation may take it from them. Much has been written about the Okies who left their farms and headed for California, but little about those who stayed, those who rebuilt the land, renewed the soil, and ended the Dust Bowl. The Cobles now own some of the land they farm, but it took 37 years to raise the down payment.
Land is an asset that don't never, they ain't making no more of that. And it's whatever, you can put money in the savings account or whatever you want to, and this recession or whatever it is will eat that money up. But you buy land and it won't eat that up because land goes up pretty near every year, has so far.
Hello, bud. Fill it up with regular, I guess.
But it is their crops, not land, that buys the gas for their cars and food for their table.
Good morning, Phyllis.
Folks here feel they can no longer control those prices
And some bread.
or their profits.
Some milk.
They feel today what they felt in the 30s, that the country's economy is out of control.
Did you notice the pumps out there today, Clara?
No, how much to go up this time?
Oh, just 2 cents.
But the Cobles aren't worried. When bad times come, they find comfort in their old homestead. It is not just a measure of how far they have come. It is a reminder, no matter how bad things get, people can survive. For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, in Cimarron County, Oklahoma.